You're perfect, exactly as you are. You don't need to change. There's nothing to do and nowhere to go. It's already here. You're already perfect. Living in Quantum Love with Deborah Laval will, in very simple terms, help you to understand that you are not who or what you believe yourself to be. Deborah will share her own direct experiences, as well as interviewing enlightened guests who help shed light on our misunderstandings and limited beliefs to reveal the truth that we already are and have never left.
Welcome to Living in Quantum Love. The title of today's show is Reading is the First Step in Healing. This is your host, Virginia D., and you're listening to Living in Quantum Love, which is on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Thursday at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can listen online or on your mobile devices. To learn more, go to dreamvision7radio.com for a full schedule. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network is the media partner for the Omega Institute. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Virginia D., and I am co-hosting the Living in Quantum Love show with Deborah Laval. We will be hosting in alternate months. As always, I'm honored to be hosting the program today. I would like to first say thank you so much to the listeners for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Our topic today is reading is the first step in healing. I will be doing a full reading for my wonderful friend and colleague, Larna. As later on in the show, we'll do Rose reading and 2 past lives and time for questions. But I'd like to begin and talk a little bit about healing itself and how reading is connected to healing to healings. So as we move through our life's journey, we all have challenges that provide us with opportunities for growth, improvement, and ultimately an increase in our own peace and happiness. Doesn't that sound good? These challenges come in the form of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual imbalances. We can seek help from many different kinds of support to provide not only an easement of painful symptoms, but also information on the root cause of the imbalance. This movement toward wellness is called healing. And to me, healing means the process by which we search for and ultimately find balance or oneness within. Then we can more and more easily access and use our own divine energy to support health and happiness in all aspects of our lives. So I'd like to go through kind of a little step-by-step of how a spiritual or clairvoyant reading can be the first step in a healing project. When I say healing project, I just mean some aspect of your life that you just don't like. It might be, for instance, money problems, illness, or relationships, sleep problems, any different aspect or in our lives that we want to heal. And a healing project is when we have a specific focused desire and work to free ourselves of what it is that we don't want and have more of what we do want. So having a clairvoyant reading is a powerful way to assist with any type of healing project. And I just want to say in here that readings are meant to be part of a healing regime, not instead of one, and that we should always be working with our healthcare practitioners as well, or any other person that's appropriate to get help from. Healing projects may be physical. For instance, you might have a reading about why do you have migraine headaches, what's the basis, and how are they affecting you. Could be something emotional. Perhaps there's an ongoing argument with a friend or a family member. They also might be spiritual, and a spiritual healing project might be one where sometimes people lose faith or their interest in a spiritual practice falls away and they don't know what else to do. They feel disconnected. And they, particularly for a spiritual focus, a reading can really provide a lot of valuable information about what's going on. So a clairvoyant reading starts, let's say our step 1, with a spiritual greeting between the reader and the readee. And of course, when you first meet, if you're meeting over the phone, that's all you can do is say hello over the phone. But if you meet in person, we usually, say hello to each other out loud. There's also a spiritual greeting that goes on between the reader and the person having the reading, which I call the readee. And this little hello that begins a healing in itself, as it validates the spiritual essence of the person having the reading, and of course with the reader as well. It's sort of an energy match that happens. It's subtle, but it provides a very good basis for the reading that's going to follow. The step 2 would be when the reader uses their spiritual sight, their clairvoyance, to shine a light on the present time concern, and illuminate, to see what's going on. What's the history of something? How is it manifesting? Are there other people connected? Many, many different ways can be associated with illumination. And when readers use their clairvoyance, they see things as pictures, they see energy, they see energy waves, they see symbols, and all of these things they can bring to the surface and eventually provide some really valuable information for the person who's had the reading. It's vitally important, of course, to throw the light on what's going on, because you can't fix what you can't see. A doctor would never go into an operation in a dark room. They have to see what's going on. And it's the same in healing, except we are using our clairvoyance to illuminate the information. Step 3 in a reading is always neutrality. When we look at things from a spiritual perspective, it is always completely non-judgmental, which is so freeing, because actually you can't begin to heal anything if you're judging it. So when you get a absolutely non-judgmental information in a reading, there's a lot of healing that goes on there too. The judgment is moved off. It's easier to see the truth, or to see things more with more greater clarity. When we're looking at it from a spiritual perspective. So step 4 would be all the information that comes from the reading. And that can be information from present time. Of course, that's probably where to start when you come into a reading. But also past time, things that happened in this life in the past, or even past life experiences can have a strong effect on different things, different areas of our life where we need some healing. So a reading provides encouragement for the readee to begin to make changes in a way that's most beneficial, including validation, illumination, and non-judgment of ourselves or others. And reminds us that ultimately we can only heal ourselves. You can, much as we might like to be able to think we can heal somebody else, we can't. And when you keep your attention on only dealing with yourself, the most healing will happen. So I'm just going to go, here's a few examples of healing projects. For instance, a person might be in an unhappy relationship and they want to change that situation for themselves. That's probably something that almost everybody's been in that situation at one time or another. So we'll move on to the rose reading part of our program. For my reading, I'll be using my clairvoyance, intuitive sight, to provide information for my readee, Lana. I use the symbol of a rose to help me focus, gather, and communicate what I see. I also look briefly at 2 past lives. And in the last section of the reading is a time for my guest to ask questions. Okay, so and now, finally, hooray, I am delighted to welcome my guest for today, Lorna. Hi, Lorna.
Hello, Virginia.
How are you today?
I'm feeling great and super excited about my reading.
Okay, great. So I'll just go over it quickly, what about the rose reading for people who haven't heard of it before. So I get the mental image picture of a rose that represents you, the soul, being in present time. And the first part of the reading, the first minute, let's say, I'll describe your rose. I'll talk about the hip of the rose, the part that joins the flower to the stem, and I look at your rose in relation to the sun, and the sun is whatever source energy means for you. I call it the God of your heart, but whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe the universe, people say. And also then I will be looking at 2 past lives in the other next part of the reading. And the past lives show up as little gold rings on the stem of the rose. So the first minute at the most will be me describing your rose and all the parts, because they all mean something, and then I'll go back and interpret it for you.
Wonderful.
Okay, so let me just see what's reading here. A rose for Larna. And for time. Okay, so Larna, I'm seeing this massive, big rose. It is gigantic. I don't think I've ever seen a big rose like that before. Your rose, and there's just so much information all of a sudden comes up. Whoa. So mostly it's blue, and these are not the colors of nature, right? The spiritual roses. Like a very beautiful sky blue, and as I said, an enormous rose, just so many petals. A lot of there's also like mixed in with your petals. There are some petals that are kind of wilted looking, and so they were maybe blue, but they've got that soft wiltiness to the petals themselves. There is a tiny new bud that's bright red that is in the center of this big rose. And there's a very long stem roots, and that means you have a lot of past experience. The hip of the rose represents communication, and it is a good size for the rose, and it is supporting that, but there's it's more oval shaped than round. And I see, though, that it's time for us just to take a little commercial break, and we'll do that right now, and we'll come back and start right away with interpreting the rose.
Great.
I invite everyone to contact me with questions, comments, or to book a session at virginiad@lightspeed.ca, which is virginiad@lightspeed.ca, or readingswithvirginia.com. That's readingswithvirginia.com. You can contact me for all the details, or simply send me an email to virginiad@lightspeed.ca. See you shortly.
Male or female, we all age and would love to look and feel our best. There are ways to sharpen our brains and smooth our skin. Nerium International